There you are. How are you getting on?
Well,
How's things?
Tom? What's the crack?
You're looking well, boys. Fair play to you.
And yourself?
We're a bit dirty now, but
That's all right.
But sure, it has to be done.
Fair play. You've work to do. That's the main thing.
That's it. Yeah, we built this place over the last few days.
Stop the lights.
It's good. Sure, we got so much satisfaction from building the first pub in the sitting room. We had to go and build one in the shed. So it's good.
The jealousy levels are through the fucking roof right now. That is, and if ever there was one sign of the fucking COVID-19, it is the usage of pallets around the place. I'm after building a load of stuff with fucking pallets out the back as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a pallet recession after this.
Village problems.
Do you make me a cup of tea?
Yeah, Sean never brought it over.
For fuck's sake. It's every man for himself here. But, yeah, how are you finding the lockdown?
Eric, sure, grand. We're out the country anyway. We're out by beyond Bray there. So it's grand. Like. And it suits me down to the ground. I'm fucking red raw culture from Tip anyway, like, so it suits me down to the fucking ground not to have people too close to me anyway, so it's grand.
Yeah, it's much better.
That's kind of the same with us. We're actually in. I didn't realize we were on such a stupid hat. But we're actually out in the middle of nowhere, and the farmer next door is a real fucking lunatic.
He's like the Bull McCabe.
Who's a fucking total looper. But today the guards were called on him, and there was 2 guard cars outside on this like country lane in the middle of nowhere. And
some teenagers were fucking around in his property, and he went. I think he held them hostage or something. And the guards it was an exciting day down our lane today. So
it's fucking unreal. I was delighted seeing all the guards coming around.
My jealousy levels are, honest to God, they're fucking dripping over the edge now at this stage. What I wouldn't give for a lunatic of a farmer to pull a fucking shotgun on a few young fellas next door, but
no need for telly.
You can make the trouble yourself.
I know. The problem is, you see, I'm saying countryside in inverted commas. Like Christopher lives across the field. If you get me, it's that kind of country. It's country, but it's not country. If you know what I mean. Like,
I get you. Yeah. It's not raw.
No, there's 4x4s, but they all have a Range Rover sign on them, and none of them have a fucking hitch on them. You know, that kind of way. So,
no, these cunts around here are muck savages.
Yeah, that's more up my road now. To be honest with you, Well, we kick it off, boys. Anyway, it's great to see. And this is all it is. Anyway, we've kind of already kicked it off in a way, like it's just fucking bantering. Anyway, so you're very welcome to Buckshot. This is episode 147.
147. I don't think I've ever done 147 of anything.
Oh, I bet you have. If you thought hard enough.
Oh, step dead.
Come on now, we've all been on lockdown. Fucking hell.
I've had 147 pints of Guinness.
Well done. Well said. The viewers won't, or the audio listeners won't hear this, but I'm just telling the boys how ultimately jealous I am. You have curtains in the background, plaid curtains in the background. You have a bar built out of fucking pallets. Lord save us. What was it? Just pure boredom, or was there always going to be a bar built on the property somewhere?
Well, we've been doing live streams for the last while, and what you're looking at actually used to be like just a shed, and it was full of car parts. We actually also we rent this house. You know what I mean?
All right, yeah.
We have a landlord that's actually all right, you know, in one way. I wouldn't be blowing too much smoke up his hole, but because he is a landlord. But no, he's all right if he lets us build a pub. But we used to put on parties, and the pub was originally in our sitting room. We started doing live streams and singing in the pub to make it more authentic, and it was just very small, and the cat was after piddling on the carpet, so there was an awful strong smell.
It wasn't a nice place to be.
Between the smell of the cat pee and Sean in the room when we were doing the live stream. But moved it upstairs, so we have more room.
We were building the space, the recording studio originally, but then we got a bit excited and turned it into a pub. So this is where we're going to do the live streams from now on. There's one on Friday.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah, I'll be putting your link in the bio anyway, where people will be able to get it. This is, I often wonder, was that the start of the first ever pub? Was that a fellow went out to do something? You know what I mean? I know I'm gonna build a proper productive yoke, because at the time, you know, maybe lads are only drinking in bogs and down fields and behind hedges by themselves. And before he knew it, he found a pallet, he found a fridge. I said, I'm gonna put this shit together. I'm gonna invite the guys around and I'm gonna charge him just to show up.
Yeah, he was like, I have this slab of cans and they were €24 for 24 cans. But if I charge €3 per can, sure, I'll be fucking tripling me money. Are we allowed to curse on this, actually?
Oh, absolutely. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You can go tops off, guys, whatever you want.
Hell and dirty, mucky puddles.
Listen, I've listened to, you should listen back to some of the foul languages. This has probably been the cleanest intro so far. Just listen to the PJ Gallagher one. He managed to squeeze the fuck word into at least, I think he got it 14 times into one sentence in the opening fucking 2 minutes. So,
You bastard. The dirty.
See, now you're just tripling the action now. That's really it.
We don't like
cursing. We're nice, clean boys.
We're like the Waltons here. Or Little House on the Prairie.
The Waltons were probably racist.
Oh, we're not like them. We're not like them.
Inbred racists. The Waltons.
We're not one of those things.
You're neither inbred or racist. That's great. That's great.
No, we're not one of the things. And we were at the Black Lives Matter protest.
Oh, fair enough. I was just gonna, 4 white fellas talking to each other in the fucking the solitude of darkness of our houses. Yeah. So okay, yeah, I wouldn't be too far off it either. Come here and tell me this. I came across you first. It was what's his name? Derry Farrell. I remember I was listening to him.
Oh yeah.
And you know, the suggested next pops up, and he popped up. The name alone caught me, and then of course saw you on Tiernan Show as well. But where did the Mary? I'm sure you've been asked this a fucking million times, because my mother is called Mary, and she'd wallop the shit out of all 4 of us at the same time.
Yeah. No, it's same with ours.
Same.
Is it? And where did your Mary Walloper come from then?
It was Sean's dad.
My father's from the quay in town, and he's always on about this boat that was there, just a wee rowing boat someone had, and you know, like ships would have a name painted on them. He said this was like a rowing boat that someone for the crack painted a name on it, and the name of the ship was the Mary Walloper. So then all through my life, anytime you drive past a boat or a ship, there's the Mary Walloper. Was shite like.
And so that suits us down to the ground.
That's kind of like it's kind of like putting a pallet in your shed and calling it a pub.
Yeah.
Do you know,
Ain't the name that boat.
I mean, there's the lack. I love the lack of depth to that story. Do you know what I mean? It was
It's as simple as that.
What's that funny word your old fella used to say? Was it Wally Pippers? No, Mary Wallopers. We have a name,
We
guys.
get all that as well. We get all that as well. People not knowing what the name is properly. The Mary Wallopers.
The Mary Wallpapers.
Wallopers also.
Yeah, people really can't spell Walloper. Actually, do you know who can't spell Walloper? RTE. Because when they put up the video of the YouTube thing, it was called the Wallopers. There's not a H. It doesn't go WHALL.
The Wallopers.
The Wallopers.
It sounds
They're accents. They're posh accents.
We're the Wallopers when we're on RTE. But the Wallopers are on tonight.
It sounds so Protestant in that accent as well, doesn't it? Like the Wallopers, you know what I mean? It's
Trail colonial.
Isn't
Mary Wallopers. They walloped the trail from north to south in blood.
They walloped our potatoes rotting into the ground.
And we still go to them for soup.
Fair play. Yeah, so introduce yourself as from left to right. So there's the 2 brothers anyway, Andrew and
Charles.
and we have
Charles.
Sean. Charles,
Yes, I'm Sean.
Andrew, and Sean up the middle, you gave Sean away already with the saying poor old Sean schmelt.
Yeah, he does smell very bad. You're very lucky.
He's a mucky boozle.
I haven't had a wash today, but I might have one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do
So
not.
Sean's a smelly one.
That's great. I'm glad
He's
to get
delighted.
that on record now. Fantastic.
He's the John Lennon of the band, is he? He's just.
Yeah, he's a real fucking
artist.
hippie.
I can't
Charles
say.
loves the mouthpiece.
I can't say anything about facial hair. In fairness to you, it is you're doing well. I've gone full militia with my one, like, because I'm living in the hills here.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
It's hard to know what to be out with.
I never realised how hairy my ears got. I didn't realise the barber had been trimming the hairs of my ears secretly all these years. And not telling me.
Secretly.
I could fucking bale hay out of the stuff that's growing out of my fucking ears at the minute. So are you all three from Dundalk?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah,
so
me and Charles grew up outside Dundalk, like 20 minutes outside Dundalk in the middle of the countryside. So closer to Dunleer,
but it's actually easier if we just say we're from Dundalk because it's kind of our stomping ground. And also
the closest hometown that we'd go to hang out and smoke fags behind the old Tesco shopping centre.
Yeah, and like, do you know, like we're the only people probably in Louth that are like, well, we're actually not from that other part of Louth. We're actually from a slightly different part of Louth.
It's the smallest county in Ireland, so there's no need to specify too much. But Sean's from the middle of town.
Born and bred.
He's from the Avenue Road. It's a real scum hole.
The murder mile.
It sounds so fucking... It's like straight out of fucking Dundalk. Like, just I can imagine there was a Compton fucking level of drive-by.
Yeah, Sean was in the Boys in the Hood Avenue Road edition,
but it was called Lads on the Road instead. Lads on the Road two's coming in.
That needs to be. You need to do that. That needs to be your Lads on the Road. Coming straight out of the Avenue Road. Nice. So the two guys, Charles and Andrew, do you ham up your accents a small bit more when you go back into the town?
But we've actually kind of weird accents because our family's all from Kildare, and then
some of our family kind of grew up in Dundalk. It would have been their first.
7 in our family, and then the older ones kind of, some of them have kind of Kildare.
They're all real weird country people. They're from a Thai, outside a Thai, a place called Castle Rebel.
Oh jeez, yeah.
It's a weird sort of spot. Oh, they're not from Castle. Anyway, they're from some.
Both of our parents were from down that way.
But they're not from the fancy part of Kildare, like the Dublin part.
They're not from Horsey Kildare.
They're from the 50s part. That's still the 50s, where all the shops are owned by like the same family. Still, there's no chains in Kildare.
Yeah.
I remember or in a Thai. Sorry. I remember when Lidl went and we used to visit our uncle, and I used to buy the place out.
Lidl is something else. You get all kinds of tools you want, and a bit of ham as well.
But a lot of people say, like, sometimes people compliment our accents, and they're like, I love that Dundalk accent, and anyone from Dundalk is like, we don't have Dundalk accents, really. I'd say we have little twinges of Dundalk.
Do we have hybrids?
I'd say for Dundalk people, we probably wouldn't notice it, but
yeah.
Somewhere else in the country you might sound more Dundalk, but from here you're sound Fountain.
Yeah, we sound very exotic is the word I'd use.
Don't fan anywhere.
Exotic is the word I'd use, not foreign. We sound exotic.
Exotic, yeah, definitely exotic. If you showed up in fucking a Thai with them accents, I can tell you.
We sound like a foreign body or something.
They're just you get to places like a Thai and parts of Laois and stuff like that, and you're going into no man's territory there. Like there's
we're happy we didn't grow up there.
Yeah, we're delighted. No back off a Thai now, like, because we like going down and visiting there the odd time, but we're glad we didn't grow up there like all our weird brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
crooked in the head.
Three lads sitting by yourselves in a shed that looks like a pub wearing woolly jumpers. Nothing's wrong at all. Like
Jason, I never twigged the jumpers at all.
Wearing fucking orange jumpers. Like actually, this happened to us before. We done a tour in England. When was it? I think it was the start of last year in London. That's silent.
What the fuck is
that? We done a tour in London at the start of last year, and our friend was driving us, and we got the ferry, but we all turned up at the same day wearing fucking orange jumpers, and we didn't have any other jumpers, so we were walking around London as an Irish battle group with fucking
all wearing fucking jumpers.
Fucking Gansey Brothers.
And our friend was like, lads, you need to get rid of the jumpers. So that happened again today.
And added all the insult to injury, being like all the English people going, "You're Irish, sing a song." You know, we were like, "Ah, fuck, will you?"
It's because that's exactly what they would say. Don't judge us. We're not. Oh wait.
And then we were like, we're actually just going around London drinking pints and singing songs.
What do you think we are?
Yeah, what do you think we are?
Please,
we roared at them.
Yeah, because I was going to bring up the Clancy Brothers and Tommy Makeup, but I don't think I need to right now. This is
we love them.
Yeah, they're a big influence.
We love them. They're a huge influence. We're like the Clancy Brothers gone wrong. Our favourite story about the Clancy Brothers is
Clancy Brothers got
two of them were
when good Clancy Brothers go back.
when they take their jumpers off. Our favourite story about the Clancy Brothers is two of them were living in New York and they started a theatre company. And how much money did they make of
They
this?
made something ridiculous. I think it was the two. It wasn't Liam, but it was the other two. Anyway,
It doesn't even matter.
They went to, before the Clancy Brothers started, they went to America and started a theatre company, and in 3 months made something ridiculous, like 80 grand, and within 6 months they were like 100 grand
Stone
in
broke.
debt.
They had no money left because they just like tore the arse out of it.
Yes.
And then the other
Apparently the
story
Bears are
that
good.
we really like about them is how one of their great aunts or something was was praising the life out of them in America,
The
being like,
grandmother.
they're so amazing, their grandmother, they're so amazing, the boys are doing so well, down in Carrick-on-Shore. And then she got sent a letter back saying they were being real tramps in America, and she never ever spoke about them ever again.
Yeah, a woman. I met one of their nieces at Electric Picnic a few years ago, and she said that story.
So it's great
Yeah.
to hear that they can make a career off of that.
Well, they can only be mad cunts come out of the likes of Carrick-on-Shore. That that is.
I agree.
That is.
I actually went to visit Carrick-on-Shore at the very start of the year.
Yeah.
There's
And
nothing there.
there's nothing. And you think, lads, okay, you've nothing at all, but fuck, would you throw up an owl something about the Clancy Brothers? Not a fucking peep. Not a peep.
Not a tap.
Not a
Well,
fucking.
maybe they might have got the same letter sent back that the grandmother got. They went around New York dogging Carrick-on-Shore into the ground.
To be fair now, it wouldn't have been in a great fucking spot before they left it, like, but no, that's pure tip, what that is. Like, the second these lads fuck off and make a fortune abroad, shower of pricks, who the fuck do they think they are?
yeah.
Do you
Ignore
know-
them. It's incredibly either.
They left the farm. They wouldn't look after the fucking
Yeah.
farm.
Useless.
They let the father's farm rotten to the ground. They were away singing songs like little girls.
I was working the bed to sleep on the floor.
There was because apparently, like, I mean, this is, everybody knows everything that goes on nowadays with social media and phones and everything, but apparently they were wild bastards, which you could only imagine.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
making
only
mega bucks, and
We were just me and Andrew were watching videos of the Clancy Brothers last night in here and just looking at them and just thinking about like how it must have felt going from Carrick-on-Shore to New York in the 60s.
When there's no internet around.
Like it would have been mental. Why wouldn't you absolutely tear the ring out of the whole experience?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
And most people did that, and they hadn't a pot to piss in. But these fellas went over and immediately started. They're playing Carnegie
yeah.
Hall, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
immediately
yeah.
start rocking
Yeah.
it.
They really knew how to play the Americans,
yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah.
And they weren't afraid to do
They weren't
it.
afraid to do it. They'd be saying stuff like, back in Ireland, like acting like real, Yeah, fair play to them.
They were amazing.
They were bound to it.
If the America thing did happen, would saying you went on a fucking massive tour of all the, would say, because I've done a bit in the way of Irish American centres in the way of stand up and stuff like that, and you lean into it a bit, like
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
because all
When
these
we're
guys
in
are, these guys are named like, my name is Patrick O'Reilly, and you're like, relax, will you, Patrick, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Relax.
Yeah.
Would you lean heavily into it? You fucking may as well, I suppose. You know what I mean?
Me and Andrew have never been to America. Sean's brother lives in America,
I've
and
been in some states.
he's
Hey!
But we would like to go. We're gonna go in the next 2 years anyway.
I don't think we'd ham it up a bit, but in the right way.
In the
I
right
think
way.
tongue in cheek, like.
Do you know when we go to England, like we played at Glastonbury a few times, and every time we're over there, we sing songs supporting the IRA, songs that we would never sing over here. Do you know what I mean? Just to kind of.
We sing all the spicy 1990s IRA songs over in Glastonbury just to get a rise out of English people. But
Just to, but they love it.
They
It's
love
not even getting a rise out of them. They love it. They love it.
they love being told
That's so amazing. Your accent is so beautiful.
So you were playing the gay tent, were you? By the sounds of things.
Yeah, we play any set. The Mary Wallopers will play any concert. Anything.
It is true though. I mean, I've gone hard at it in the way of leaning into it as well in England, because they know a brief amount of the history that they were we weren't very nice to Irish people apparently. So
Yeah.
you can go on, and it was on this particular lineup. It was me, an Asian chap, and a black chap, and the lads leaned into it heavy. So by the time I was brought on stage, I went, "Well, fuck this." And you can say whatever you want, and there's almost this apologetic laugh, like, "I'm not sure we should not be laughing because I don't know what I was saying was pure shite," but they were embarrassed not to laugh because they wanted to. But there was several times I thought, "Will I just come out, you black and tans," in the middle of it? Will I just throw out that phrase?
What we noticed in Glastonbury as well, like watching an English festival, everyone behaves themselves. You can tell them to do anything. And like they really do, like they all like sit in line and stuff, and they don't like if you say like stop doing that, they go, "Oh, sorry," you know. They're really,
it's nice to have them do it for a change.
Very orderly.
If you want to get back at the English, go to Glastonbury and walk around with a hurl and a megaphone, and,
shout about the IRA.
Yeah,
but I've seen it. Like lads, just mates of mine that are over there, they've shown it to the test. We're in Manchester, or not Manchester. We're in. Oh fuck! What was it? It was a much smaller, so it was something like fucking Norwich or something like that. And one of the lads was talking about how they love a good queue in England. They fucking love a good queue. And one of the lads just started queuing, as we have to now, outside doors. And one of the lads this is like 10 o'clock at night, stood outside the door of a bank, and he's standing behind me there. And I stood in behind me, and I swear to God, two more fellas queued, Langer's drunk, queued in behind us, searching for change in their pockets. And it was like, "You all right, lads? What are you?" And they were, "Oh, sorry. Are we know? Oh, God, I need to get what?" And they had no fucking. It was just a queue, just a queue.
That's
fucking
beautiful. They love it.
They love it. They love it.
They're very innocent.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Would you throw me? Would you throw me in an old sing song of some sort?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
You just have delicious tones. Would you give me a blast? We'll smatter them throughout, one or two of them. And
what do you want? Is there anything in particular you want?
I really enjoyed the one building up and tearing England down. It kind of reminds me of from my building days. I love that old stuff.
Oh, lovely. We absolutely hated working on a building site.
But the only thing, like, I think the nostalgia of a thing is because
totally,
absolutely. And also the crack is 90 on a building site.
That's like the number one thing is the crack is 90. You can say and do anything.
It's like secondary school forever. Like willies all over the toilets and stuff.
But in secondary school, stopping at junior cert as well. That's the thing. Like, it's not even. It's
Intercert.
The intercert. Jesus Christ! I don't think there's anyone old enough for the fucking the intercert.
I wonder will this sound all right?
It actually will, in fairness, because I give a separate mic set up there. It's much better than just the whatchamacallit. So that's absolutely great. Yeah, I can hear it through these perfect.
Okay. Will I go for the song then?
Lash into it, bye.
Yo!
I have won a hero's name with McAlpine and Costain, with Fitzpatrick, Murphy, Ash and Wimpy's gang. I've been often on the road, on my way to draw the dole, but there's nothing left to do for Johnny Lang. And I used to think that God made the mixer pick and hod, so that Paddy might know hell above the ground. I've had gangers big and tough tell me tear it all out rough when you're building up and tearing England down. I remember Carrier Jack, he wore a hod upon his back, and he swore he'd one day set the world on fire. His face we've never seen since his shovel it cut clean through the middle of a big high tension wire. And I saw Ball McCall from the big flyover fall into a concrete mixer spinning round. Though it was not his intent, he got a fine head of cement when he was building up and tearing England down. I was on the hydro dam The day that Pat McCann got the better of his stammer in a week. He fell from the shuttering jam, and that poor old stuttering man, he was never ever more inclined to speak. And no more like Robin Hood will he roam through Cricklewood or dance around the pubs of Camden Town. Let no man complain that no navvy dies in vain when he's building up and tearing England down. In a tunnel underground, a young Limerick man was found. He was built into the new Victoria line. And when the bonus gang had passed, sticking through the concrete cast, was the face of little Charlie Joe Devine. And the ganger man McGurk said Big Paddy hates the work, when a gas pipe burst and he flew off the ground. Well, this where he said, don't slack, I'll not be there until I'm back. Keep on building up and tearing England down. So come you navvies bold, who do think that English gold is just waiting to be plucked from every sod? Or that the likes of you and me will ever get an OBE or a knighthood for good service to the Hod. They've a concrete master race that'll keep you in your place, and a ganger man to kick you to the ground. If you ever try to take part of what the bosses make when you're building up and tearing England down. If you ever try to take part of what the bosses make when you're building up and tearing England down.
Woo!
You player.
My old bandmates would clap for me. Did you see that?
They did clap for you.
Neither of them clapped.
Your
hands cold sitting out in the shed.
I was just making sure you're.
I'll remember that.
What I'll do is I'll dub in a just canned laughter just to make it sound like it's fantastic.
Yeah,
but that was great. Did you work in the buildings? Had you worked in the buildings or?
Yeah.
For years.
For ages.
I think when I was 15, I started working on building sites in between school, and then I stopped for a year, and then I started again for till I was 23, I think.
I was on and off building sites also. I was definitely less use on a building site than Andrew was. I'm proud of it. There just something hit me where I was I remember the last day I was on a building site, something hit me where I was like, why am I wasting time building a house for some rich cunt?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember my first day on the building site was the opposite though. I said, £100 a day. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Waste my time in school. I just took it out to children.
But it is a perspective. Some lads are just built for that shit, isn't it? You just.
Yeah.
And it's only when you go away from it. And I still to this day, and I love, songs like that. And you talk to fellas and going, oh, Jesus, yeah, just me mighty crack. Now, I went straight from a building site to working in an office. And I wanted to murder everybody in the office. It was like...
I'd say, yeah.
Well, you'd left it was like letting a wild dog in around Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
It didn't know what to do with him.
Building sites make you tick. They make you angry.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real short-tempered.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, I think it's because I had to wear a tie and I had to wear a shirt. And people said things like, hi, Karen, how was your weekend? Do you know?
Yeah. There's something incredibly unnatural about that.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because neither one of them want to talk about it. Even Karen is going, Yeah, I didn't. I quickly became a stand-up comedian. It's not long after.
Much better off. I remember going for an interview to work in an office, answering phone calls, and I remember when I got into the interview, the way your man just started talking about how if you join our team, you're going to be part of this very exclusive team. And I remember in the interview, he definitely noticed my facial expression change, where I was just like, this is fucking shit. I have no interest. If you said yes to me tomorrow, I wouldn't come in. I was like, fuck this. He just lost all his gusto after about 30 seconds of speaking to me. I was like, yeah, that sounds good, all right, yeah.
I could just, even as you were telling me that, I could imagine exactly what I was going through. Well, fuck this.
What the fuck am I doing? I'm only doing it for the benefit of the fucking people in the door office.
Yeah. I definitely went in. I definitely wanted that fucking job. I did. Swear to God I did, yeah.
Fucking got down on my knees and fucking started crying.
Yeah. It's a tough adjustment, and then thank God you found music then, because Jesus, imagine having
I was stuck in the office for another. The boys were playing the music full time, and I was stuck in an office losing head. But we came in and rescued.
We forced Sean to quit his job. We told him we were going on a European tour, and we were like, "We're thinking of going to Europe for two weeks." And Sean was just like, "All right, quit the fucking job."
I went into the boss like, "John, come here. What would be the crack of getting 2 weeks off?" And he's like, "Well, like, we are flat out. I couldn't give any of the boys 2 weeks off." And I was like, "You know I'm going to go anyways, don't you?" He's like, "Yeah, best of luck."
Yeah, it was great.
So that was going to be my next question. How did you, like, the two boys are obviously brothers, and how did they meet up? Were you friends? How were you friends if you were 20 miles? Did you go to school together or something?
We all went to school in Dundalk.
We came across each
We all
other.
were in school in Dundalk. The first day I met Sean, I was on the 100X, and Sean was sitting at the back, and I had a book that was covered in willy drawings. And I went over to Sean because he looked like a fella that'd draw a good willy. And so I went over to him. I was like, do you want to draw a willy here? And as cool as a cucumber as well. He was like, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, give us over. So we met when we were teenagers like that, and then of course me and Andrew were brothers then. So we all knew that all of us played ballads as well, or came from families where sessions were like
been playing tunes,
like ballad sessions, not one of these weird trad families, the ones that they all play Gaelic and they're all like kind of miserable about the music. But, it's just good to get your child into extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
But our family's like getting together and getting pissed and singing, So.
See, I often get creeped out by those families that go, Saoirse, get your harp.
Yeah.
Get your harp. Auntie fucking Marie is over. You're like, oh. There's no way that kid is enjoying dragging that joke down the fucking stairs into the kitchen.
No, what's them off the music then?
They're all playing. They're always you can have them right away because they're always in GAA jerseys when they're playing the tunes.
And they're playing the uilleann pipes and they have that dead look in their eyes, like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail head.
It'd be better off an old pint than kicking an old ball.
This is the thing, like, so the families just, there was actually just music as well, was there?
Yeah.
That's it. See, I suppose the idea then that coming together, because I definitely knew two people from up that neck of the woods, and I think they went. It was a frequent thing in around Louth, isn't it? Like, because one girl I knew, she was like 5 nights of the week. She was, I don't know how she was fucking holding down a job. But
there's loads
of music in Dundalk,
especially trad as well.
Like you can go see live music in Dundalk 7 nights a week.
Or currently even. That's how good they are. They're just playing outside pubs.
They're just doing it. Yeah.
But no, it is. It's a great place for music. And obviously, Tommy Macon was from South Armagh, which is only about 30 minutes from here, outside Cady. So,
of course, we have the wonderful, ever wonderful Coors.
The Coors.
The second most popular.
We started in the same pub as the Coors.
Yeah.
They started in McManus's.
But McManus's was
a bustling, jiving spot. And we started in McManus's when there'd be lads headbutting each other in front of each other when you're playing. So.
Yeah, I think horses for courses, lads. You know what I mean? You were never going to be courses either, like,
I think it's one of the best things that ever happened to us.
We were probably the last bullet in McManus's head.
But, we definitely preferred playing in kind of rougher pubs. Do you know what I mean? We still do actually, because it feels nicer. Do you know what I mean?
It's better for you.
Yeah,
for you as a musician to play in rougher places.
It's the building site and the office thing, I think.
But it's a relatable. There's a rawness to it. Even when I do,
we don't belong in gin emporiums.
No, Jesus Christ. Well, I've done, like, I've gigged in wild. There's a couple of wild spots in around Dublin. Like, there's one over in a place called Jobstown. They had a gig, and it wasn't even that good of a pair, but I fucking loved it because you never knew what was going to kick off. Like, there's an hour on one day told me to pull out my cock. That was her opening line as I walked on stage. I did, and to be fair, I wasn't sure when to put it. I wasn't sure when to put it away. I had 25 minutes of a set to do, so I fucking left it. But you know, like, you could see somebody, like there was a lad in there one day with no shirt on and a lurcher sitting in the front row.
Lovely. That's what you want.
And
That kind of pub.
So long as, you can do nothing. Sure you can't. You can do nothing with people that have no life in them. So long as they've something going.
No.
If 'tis wildness,
you know, we're not
do
afraid
something
to
with that.
tell audiences, you know, like we played a gig in the Sunflower in Belfast. It was a great gig, but there was one person just kept fucking talking the whole way through it. And because we played in these rough pubs, we're not afraid to just be like, will you shut the fuck up or fuck out of the fucking place? Do you know what I mean? And that's fucking great. Because it's great. We take pleasure in it anyway, telling people to fuck off.
We're probably better at fighting our corner than we are playing music.
But it's the full package, isn't it? You're your own fucking security as well, sure. I mean, this is the full deal. But
as we always say as a band, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me.
Fucking Marilyn Monroe of the group there. Look at
live, laugh, love. That's our motto in Mary Wallopers.
Lads, if ye have that anywhere on your walls right now, I'm shutting down this podcast. We're done. It's true though, the rougher spots, and I think people can relate to sometimes, and also people, 90% I guarantee of that room in the Sunflower that night wanted that fella to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
But nobody would say it. But I'll never forget, we were gigging one night in Cashel in Tip, and John Cleary, he's an amazing comedian. He was in the Savage Eye and a bunch of things. He was in the Hardy Bucks as well. And John was on stage, and these three girls had come in that you could tell they weren't part of the club, or they weren't part. And they just started nattering amongst themselves. They wanted just to be out. And of course, because it's a local area, nobody wanted to say anything. Until, like, I was going to maybe go over and say, girls, would you just pipe down a bit? Because they'd been on the old bag. You could tell, you know, they were way too loud for... Yeah. And until this woman stood up and went, sorry, John. John was like 20 minutes into a 45 minutes. Sorry, John, can I stop you there? Girls, shut up to fuck before I come down to you. The whole place is silent, bar me howling at the back. And she just turned around and went, sorry, John, fire ahead. And just sat back down.
That's what you want, though.
The place turned into, three girls fucked off. The place turned into like something out of Def Jam, black comedy club in New York. People were like, no, you know, went chairs in the air. It all kicked up. And the vibe in the room from then on was, she just said it. That woman had paid her 15 quid. And she was fucking getting every penny of it. You know what I mean?
That's what you want, though. You want people fighting your corner as well, and people want to. And so once you open the floodgates, people feel free to roar stuff at other people, and it creates a great atmosphere for a gig.
It does.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I could only imagine. Like there's again pangs of jealousy of your bar and stuff, but I would love to have been able to sing and actually play music. I'm sure I have attempted at certain stages of drunkenness, you know what I mean? But to nobody would ever fucking pay for it, like, you know.
Well, we didn't think anyone would ever pay for us to play ballads, you know.
We originally started just to get drunk. Me and Charles had another band, and we had no money, and we go around town with Sean playing in different pubs, asking them if they'd give us free pints to play.
We used to do pub crawls, like anytime we were going out, me, Andrew, and Sean would meet up, bring the guitars with us. The first pub we ever went into was the Wee House in town, and we went in and we were like, will you give us a round of drink if we play a few songs? And we've never played together ever.
And we done that for about 2 months, and then we got the start in McManus's. And it was
such a building phrase.
Yeah,
we didn't know how to play a gig.
We played for 12 hours,
and it was fucking.
It was mayhem. It was mayhem.
It was going on in the pub that day.
People being pulled out of the pub. Literally, a man was walked out the pub, lifted off the ground, and pushed through the doors out of the pub. And we didn't stop playing.
I love that. I love that.
12 hours gig.
It's that Blues Brothers kind of vibe, you know, just the place is kicking off, bottles busting everywhere, and the boys are going, fucking, just busting strings.
Yeah, Jesus.
So I remember going to see a band, my parents took me to see a band years and years ago. They were called Rebel Hearts. They're still on the go. And you can imagine what they play, you know, and South Tipperary at the time was very much leaning in that direction, if you know what I mean. Like, so. But I'll never forget there was watching the banjo player, and he actually burst strings. He was playing the Men Behind the Wire so hard. He actually burst 2 strings and continued, went, fuck it, and drove on.
Oh, yeah,
I remember thinking, how cool is that? That guy is so in the zone right now. This place could go on fire.
like we used to play gigs where we'd be breaking strings like left, right, and center, and we'd still play gigs with 2 strings on the guitar.
We used to only have one guitar between us.
We
We were around like
only have
Manus,
one
and we
guitar.
play a song and pass it on, and just one guitar all
Yeah, we
night.
had no other instruments.
Remember, I got one of my friends gave me a Bowron and I brought it into one of the sessions, and Charles and Sean went fucking ballistic. What the fuck are you doing bringing this? Who do you think you are, fucking blank Steve?
We actually gave him such a hard time for bringing a fucking Bowron into the set. Because he only had one guitar. We were like, that'll do, that's the way we do it, and we'll get our pints of money and it won't matter. And we love the songs, like, you know, don't get me wrong, but when as soon as Andrew brought the Bowron and me and Sean were like, look at this fucking thing coming in here.
Isn't that so Irish? Like, Sean tried
long to the pub as well.
it was the pub's guitar, like fucking pool cue.
Sometimes, yeah.
Depending on how many strings we had at the time.
I love that Sean tried to give some level of legitimacy to you, and he still turned around and went, "Look at this prick now, ruining."
Yeah, it was Andrew. It was Andrew.
Oh, sorry,
Andrew.
Andrew.
Has always been the maestro, and then he brought a banjo in, and now he's bringing a fiddle in.
Oh,
We've actually come around. It's actually all right. It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah, you are kind of doing it for real now, so I suppose you can allow him to bring a couple of bits and pieces in.
We can accept another instrument.
Oh, fine. If you want to bring another instrument in.
I think the main issue is carrying it, though. We used to have absolute severe
rounds
matches
over carrying that.
carrying a Bowron, because it also doesn't seem like it's a very integral instrument.
Well, basically,
you know
Charles plays the Bowron more than anyone now, but he refuses to acknowledge that. So a lot of times he won't carry it from the house. I'm not fucking carrying that. And then, you know, if you've been gigging for a few days and you have mental health issues from drinking so much, a screaming match can happen very quickly.
Just over a Bowron. He's carrying a Bowron. It's great crack.
I just imagine
we left it in the van because we're that stubborn and
don't want to carry it, so we just leave it. We were like, right, we're not having a Bowron tonight. Fuck it.
Are you seriously not carrying it?
But looking back, the Bowron was actually a big wedge to drive into.
Yoko Ono.
Whatever broke up those lads, the Mary Wallopers? It was a fucking old Bowron, would you believe? Like, I don't know, could you gussy it up some way and make it like Captain America's fucking shield and put it on your back?
The Bowron is actually sitting on the wall
We
here.
have our first Bowron.
And like, we only bought a new Bowron.
One of our friends was on MDMA and it was raining, and he said we carried it up to the next, and he tried to use it as an umbrella and then a cushion. And
it's actually in such a bad way. Like, it's like like you'll be able to see people on the
in the middle. I spilled a load of kerosene on it in the van one day. They never had a cover.
like it's in a horrid shape. Like, there's holes all the way through it.
There's something I kind of love about that Bowron for some reason, though. It looks like it's you know, if that Bowron could talk, you know, it'd have a rough voice.
Yeah,
you know.
If that Bowron could cry.
It does have a look of sadness about it, all right.
Yeah, definitely.
Am I right or wrong? Did she have a rap group at one stage?
Yeah, me and Andrew.
Yes,
Actually started a group called TPM before the Mary Wallopers became notorious enough to become an official.
Became a band by accident.
Yeah.
So, hey, the fucking Clancy Brothers didn't have that, I bet you.
Yeah, they are. They didn't have a rap group.
No.
Clancy Brothers, the sexy Clancy Brothers. But yeah, we had a hip hop group. We still do technically have it, but we're use it for
at the minute because we're doing more Mary Wallopers stuff.
Yeah, we the whole thing is we can only be rappers and rap about how sexy we are and how much we love curry until we're about 32, I'd say, and then we're pushing it. Then it starts becoming a bit weird. Like, we'd be on stage grabbing at our bits and all this and like sexy dancing, but once you get to a certain age, I don't think you can do that anymore. But you can be a ballad singer.
Like the ballad
I tell you what, you'll be a ballad singer until you're 96.
People respect you more as a ballad singer the older you get.
Q-tours, Q-tour. Yeah, there isn't much call for like rap tunes about, you know, applying for a mortgage and stuff like that.
No one wants that. No one wants that.
So the decision to go full time at it, was there any nerves in it at all, or was it like, this is what we're fucking doing? Because you road tested it.
No option.
No,
there was no option from the time we wrote the first song.
We were already incredibly poor, and we were like, well, we might as well be poor and doing something that we like, because at least we'll knock some happiness out of it. And then the other thing for me, definitely, I think I've always had trouble doing things that I didn't want to do. Do you know what I mean?
That's
like
a
I
healthy way
really
to be.
have had. I think it's all right. Like,
Absolutely,
do you know what I mean? To actually be like, I don't want to do this, so I'm not going to do it. And then you deal with the repercussions and deal with
we
that.
spent the last 5 years being in total predicaments all the time because we don't have money to pay rent and shit like that. But it's like, it's great. It's
definitely worth it for those 3 years. It's just partly because society doesn't want you to be that. They want you to be efficient workers. So as soon as you say, Jesus, like people even give you grief over it, you know, making it's well for you lads, but they don't realize everyone has their own choice. You really just have to go and do whatever you want whenever you want, and it's not to be irresponsible with that choice, but do you know what I mean?
But like, I
trust in yourself to
be able to do something. Like you have to be willing to do to put up with shabby situations and do dodgy things to survive if you're going to do it. So
with the Britain's Got Talent culture, it's kind of weird because people go, oh, I'd love to do that, but would they really? Do you understand the work that needs to go into it? Like, you know, and the thing about a good performer as well is if you do it, it should look absolutely effortless. You know what I mean? It should look like it's just thrown out of nowhere. So the decision was hardly a decision. You just do it. You know,
but also I'd like to add that it's not as bad as people think. People are like afraid to quit their job and do what they want to do. Like, oh, what? How will I pay the rent or what? Like starve? Like, but give it a fuck.
If you can bring yourself to get up every morning and drive to a place that you hate and spend all your day in a place that you hate, it's not as it's more hurtful and stressful to your life to do that than to worry about how you're going to pay the rent.
And that's funny because me and Andrew were doing it. We were just working on a building site. We were living together and we were doing TPM already. And then Sean was still working. So there was this, like, Sean had to actually make that decision of having like a career, like, do you know what I mean, in what you were doing and change it. But like we've all done it, and it's a lot easier. One of my favorite things is in that I don't know what Jim Carrey is like, but that documentary Jim and Andy about Andy Kaufman. He says a point in that about how he saw his father, who was a jazz musician, become an accountant, and then what he got for it, he got bitter, and then what he got from the accountancy firm in the end was he was made redundant. And so he saw his father fail at something that he didn't like. So you can fail at things that you don't like doing. So you might as well try and fail at something that you absolutely adore. Because at least then you tried, you know. You can fail at stuff you're shit at, you know, and you don't like and you hate, and you'll do it. So and that's like a huge thing.
It's this perspective thing too. I mean, people say, oh, you know, it's fine for you, as you said. But I think if they genuinely wanted to do it themselves, they, you know, deep down, if they just, it was killing them not to do it, they do it. But people I do think like to follow a line, you know what I mean? They do. Because if all their friends are doing it, I see it because I'm in Dublin, people just load themselves with cocaine at the weekend to forget the horrors of the week, and they're looking at me like going, and you never have a Saturday night off. I'm like, dude, every fucking day is Saturday night to me. Are you joking me? I tell dick jokes for a living.
Absolutely. You know, like it's funny because it is just a way of dealing with just like jamming all this stuff out your head. And then I understand for some people maybe that's an easier option if they just want a family life and they need to support a family and that's what they want, then that's totally fine. It's all about finding what you want.
There's nothing wrong with it if you like it, but I suppose when people are saying like, oh, I don't like this, and you're lucky, like you should just do what you want if you don't like it. But I suppose the other thing is, like you were saying, the Britain's Got Talent kind of culture of like someone being amazingly talented and having this big break, like with all kinds of performance, it's not just treated like a normal job. You're either no one and you're struggling so hard, or you're amazingly talented and you just have this amazing talent out of nowhere.
Speaking on that as well, we just went through the last 2 months negotiating with the world's biggest record label about signing us, right? And in the end, we were like, nah, it's not going to happen, you know, because it's business. Do you know, at the end of the day? It's nothing like that. So we decided to just be like, no, and we're still on our own, and we're better off for it. You know, and the fact that you can make that decision at the start, of course, we were like, oh, that's a real shame, you know, because you can see yourself going, oh, that'll be so easy to just let them deal with all that. But actually, there's nothing more powerful than turning something like that down.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, but you can almost sense it off you that you are masters of your own destiny, because there's a tongue in cheek. Because I've only obviously meeting you now, but on YouTube and stuff, there's almost a boldness to you that would have been bet out of you long ago had you gone in with a crowd like that. Do you know what I mean? You know,
absolutely.
And you get weighed down with talking to them about every decision you're making that you just you'd lose. It would just disappear because you'd lose the gusto.
You'd lose it.
And where's the art in it too? If you can't have a bit of wildness, you know what I mean, your own. Then you're just back working for a fucker. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, that being said, if they offered us a hilarious amount of money, we would absolutely whatever you want. We're not stupid, like. When you have money, you can do anything.
Yeah. There's a few spare bob going around for a lad to push, lift your gear. I'll carry the fucking Bowron for you guys.
We give pints. You get a fry every morning and a pint at night.
And a fry every Friday night as well.
Come here. Yeah, that's the Friday night fries, but that's a real fucking love a Friday night fry. Would you sing me another song? Would you sing me? Everybody's going to be listening to this. Would maybe one that all you can jump into? What do you reckon?
That all of us can do, yeah.
Yeah.
Do God Bless England. Do you know that one?
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, it is.
This is a tongue-in-cheek song.
Yes, I like the boldness of this song. Yeah.
All right.
That's out of tune.
Right.
Can I tune that?
Just like myself. Tune away. You're grand.
That was terrible. That was terrible. No, we did that on purpose.
Give that a whine. That's all right.
That's the bids for you.
You talk among yourselves in the corner.
Thanks very much. But that's the beauty of doing this, because I've done a few of these out live and all the rest of it, and there's always be a thing, when there's a breakdown in communications between things. Now, people are very forgiving too; they understand it. But the beauty of this is this won't go out till Friday, so we'll all sound amazing. Although, do you know what? Because the crack is good, I might just leave it in. Your man tuning away in the background is great.
It depends how good it is what we say now, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's all about how you roll with your mistakes.
It's about the fall. It's all about the fall.
Have you had a go at turning songs that absolutely aren't folk into folk style songs? Put your own twist on them for the crack.
Yeah, well, at the minute we've been writing songs that we would have been with the same topics of the hip hop group, but just writing them as ballads. And we were thinking of covering some punk songs and stuff like that as well. Like,
class.
I was looking at covering a Dead Kennedy song, and the lads it's all music. So
we have we have very eclectic music tastes, to be honest. Like me and Sean would have bonded a lot over. We used to put on a disco called the Lid Flippers Ball, and we would have bonded over a lot of ska and 80s dance hall.
Right, yeah.
So it's like a lot of different stuff. Sing like dancehall tunes.
To be honest, it's all folk music. That is pure, like,
absolutely
working class music.
The
topics are the same, and it's all made by and for working class people.
Yeah, like all the DIY stuff. Yeah, people who just go from nothing and make their own labels and everything, and the whole lot. So we'll do this song,
please.
I'll tell you a tale of peace and love, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day. Of a land that rules all lands above, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day. Peace and plenty be her share, who kept our homes from want and tear. Oh, God bless England is our prayer. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day. So we say, everybody, come and listen while we play. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day. When we were savage, fierce and wild, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day. She came like a mother to her only child, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day. Took us from primeval slime and kept our hands from want and crime. And she sent us to heaven in her own good time. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day. So we say, hey buddy, come and listen while we play. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day. Our fathers off for naughty boys. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day. For guns and pikes are dangerous toys. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day. From the cheapy old Boland's mill, we made Mother England cry her fill. But old Britannia loves us still. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day, whack full of diddle and a dido-day. So we say, hey buddy, come and listen while we play. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day. Now Irishmen, forget the past. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day. And think of a day that's coming fast. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day. When we shall all be civilized, neat and clean, and well advised. Oh, won't Mother England be surprised? A whack full of diddle and a dido-day, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day. So we say, hey buddy, come and listen while we play. A whack full of diddle and a dido-day, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day. So we say, hey buddy, God bless England. So we'll say, a whack full of diddle and a dido-day.
That was brilliant.
Thank you very much.
I won't lie, boys. The jumpers are adding 10% for me. It's high quality.
It could evolve as another project we do.
The scumbag Clancy
Videos of us in
Brothers
jumpers.
and Smelly Makeup.
Smelly me.
Yeah.
So they of recent times, a lot of people will have come in contact. I mean, the Tiernan Show then, because you know when you think you're onto a secret thing, like the likes of his name, Derry Farrell, and then watch C&E. I was telling people about you because honest to God, you need to wrap your head around how fucking good this stuff is. Like, you know, it tells a story, and you can be as bold as you want about it, just like that song there. You could see English people being a bit silly, going, "Isn't it lovely that they're singing about?" And you're like,
"Yeah, and they do, yeah."
You know,
we had a load of English people at Glastonbury on several occasions jumping up and down singing "Some Say the Devil Is Dead West." That's what we'd say at home. Good.
But they obviously you were. What was the feedback like after the Tiernan Show then?
It was great. We definitely. We were there all day. It was like 2 o'clock in the day we went, and then we were there all day until 11:30 at night, and we were drinking out of the RT bar. And,
that's the way to do it.
Absolutely, and we got a great response.
I was good.
When it went out, actually, funny, we had a great time watching it because it was the first time we were on telly in that capacity anyway, and we were actually in Dolan's in Limerick at the time, and we were just after playing a gig, and we have a huge group of friends down from Limerick, and we were all actually sitting in the front bar of the Dolan's, and Mick Dolan put it on the telly in the pub. Brilliant. And we watched it in the pub after playing a gig, and that was very nice. It was very special.
That's
lovely.
No better vocal than Mick. He's a great fella, isn't he?
Yeah.
We had serious crack with him now that night.
Yeah, and John as well.
Yeah, and John too.
Was the door? Was there a lock in? Was there?
Well, we went on. I can't actually remember. We ended up somewhere anyway. I tell you, it was a long old night, but it was great. It was really a lot of fun watching us on telly in a pub. Our favorite place.
I hadn't picked up on it at all, lads. Fair play. I'm coming from your bar, and you've been doing the live streaming then as well. How many gigs? I fucking hate saying this because. How many gigs did you lose? We'll say. What was planned down the line up until?
Just in the first weekend of lockdown, we were supposed to fly to Germany and do 2 days of gigs, then fly to London and do a gig in Trafalgar Square, and then fly home and do a gig in Cork, and then the day after that,
Cork Opera House with Lankham, and then what was the gig in Dublin?
The Button Factory with TPM.
We
had like mental schedule of. To be honest, we were kind of dreading it.
Yeah, it was daunting.
Then the lockdown started, and we just said, "Fuck, we'll do the live stream." So
the live streams have been good now, anyway. But we're you know, we had Jesus. I've just putting it out of my head all the gigs we had booked this year, but the live streams are great crack. So
last year we done 154 gigs, so it's mental for us to be at home because that's generally how.
This is the first time in 3 years we've actually been at home for longer than a week.
Fucking hell, but that's amazing to hear it though, isn't it? Because you know, you could be scratching your holes going, where can we get, you know, but you're actually out there.
Yeah, it's great. You know,
people sometimes people send us messages to our page, like other musicians and bands and that. And sometimes I think they're genuine. Other times I think there's an underlying comment. It's like you read between the lines.
Oh, there definitely is.
Where people will go, hey, lads, how do you get so many gigs? It's like, shit. You're so fucking shit. How do you get gigs and we don't? You know. So it's definitely good to have people asking us, how do we get so many gigs?
Well, just like the one in Dolan's, like there's a lot to be said for fellas that are sound. You know what I mean? And I know talking to bookers, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm not fooling myself that I think I'm the greatest comedian in the world, but people ask me the same, how you get so many gigs? It's because I'm not a pain in the hole when I show up. That's half the
there you
battle,
go.
you know?
And you're probably in some way you're probably good.
Just like yourselves, I'm able to fucking tell people to shut the fuck up when it's necessary.
Great. That's all you need.
Deadly.
Yeah, but definitely. Loads of gigs.
And most people going to comedy gigs too kind of want to be told to be shut the fuck up anyway, you know. But I suppose on the music side of things, going forward, you can can you play it at a distance? Fuck it. I know the summer will be gone from us.
To be honest, I think, like we were talking to like we're booked for some big gigs towards the end of the year, like big venues, but we don't know if they'll be socially distanced or what. And the fact that we're doing the live streams, like the first live stream we did had 3,500 watching it, and that was I think partly like just a kind of a, like it was St. Patrick's Day, the novelty of the whole lockdown, so everyone was tuned in. Like that, we weren't expecting that many people to watch it, like at all. We were going 100 maybe, but it's settled at about 1,200 people watching each live stream. So that's like a bigger gig.
That's a big gig.
That's huge, you know. And then in every house, there's more than one person watching it, pretty much, you know. But we get so much crack out of the live streams, you know, that we don't see the point in playing a gig where we won't be able to make any money. And the live streams all work off donations, which is like we just, you know, it's possibly the best way to do art like that, because you're not cutting off your entertainment for people that can't afford it, and people that can afford it can pay for it. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like it all levels itself out, and it works great for us. Do you know what I mean? Like we prefer it. I would prefer to pay like online, like pay what you think. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you're feeling like you can pay that, and sometimes you're feeling you can't, and everyone's happy, I think, that way. You know.
And hence why you fell out with that recording fucking agency. Yeah, you were like, I want people to pay us what they think we're worth. That's not how business works, guys. I'm sorry.
Of course, yeah.
But you're spot on. Yeah, it does. Your service in there needs to what they need from it, like, you know.
Yeah, well, like it works for stuff like live streaming. It wouldn't work for gigs because there's a lot of costs associated with actual physical gigs. But with live streams, the cost isn't like we do pay the camera operators and we pay for equipment and stuff each live stream. But you know, it's actually like at least it's not running a venue. Do you know what I mean? We don't have to do. We don't have all these expenses. You know.
But it's grand, I suppose. Like what is good about the live streams as well is we made the pub, so it kind of, for us, it feels like we're doing a gig as well, because we're going somewhere else to do
but it looks great as well. It looks great as well, because at first I was looking going, did those bastards find a pub that'll let them in? You know, I was like, how did they do it, the bastards? And it shot so well. I was going, this is the way to do it, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I think like one of the mistakes I think a lot of artists are making with live streaming is it's just them in front of their phones, and it's losing the magic. And we don't be special. You know,
a spectacle.
We think musicians should be paid the same way as trades people are paid. Do you know what I mean? It's a job, and you go and do it, and you get paid for it. We don't think you should put artists on pedestals, but you should create some sort of magic for people, because because it's enjoyable. That's what I want to see. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we built the pub and all, because it should be a bit different.
Well,
It's really like to lift people out of that slump during the coronavirus thing. You know what I mean?
Even the way it's like at certain clubs around the country have tried to do the comedy thing, and if music might fall flat, you'd want to see how stand-up comedy does not fucking work.
You have nothing to hide behind. With music, you can hide behind the guitar.
But there's no feedback. Because it's a very organic thing, just like music. So we've created I've just totally bypassed it now myself, and a friend of mine he's very, very good with production and stuff. And it's a game show. We've created a game show. So you know what I mean? It's no holds barred. There is no language barriers, everything. The first one got pretty funny and pretty dark fairly fucking quickly, I can tell you. The reaction from people were going, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Just like with the music, we were creating a bit of magic, you know?
Yeah,
you should present it as we have some changes for the live stream. Is this going out on Friday? Yeah.
This is going out Friday morning, yeah. So tonight, as people will hear it.
So so we have some changes for the live stream tonight. So number one is we've moved it up out of the sitting room with the smelly cat piddle on the floor, and it's a lot bigger. And we also have like 2 other lads in that are going to be on camera handing us comments. And then we did a competition, which is still on now, about asking people to send in drawings of us that they did, and you can win a pint glass. And we've already gotten a load.
We have Mary Wallopers pint glasses on the way that we're not going to sell. We're just
we're only giving them away. You have to win them, which seems like a kind of a scam, but whatever. It's So it's also about not us just not playing a gig, but it's crack. It should make you feel like you're actually in a pub in Dundalk and there's bingo going on or something like that. You know what I mean?
I think we've preferred to call it a virtual pub experience.
Can you get VR goggles and just be in there with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a very dangerous VR because you might never want to leave. Totally
VR goggles we're developing at the minute with Apple, but it's a VR headset, but it's a simulation of going to the toilet when you're pissed. So it's like urinal swaying left and right and all that stuff.
I think like we've gotten so many like unbelievable messages from people like nurses even and stuff like that where they're really saying that it's like pulling them out of like a mad time. And so it's all gladly like kind of winding down now, but it was just mad after the first one to see the reaction because we weren't expecting it. We were literally just building a pub to try and give people a bit of crack and give us something to do. And just seeing how much people have like absolutely loved it. It's like we have our own Wayne's World.
But isn't that class? Isn't it? It is very Wayne's World now that you mention it. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
That's what you'll have to open with now the next day. Not a song at all. Like party time. But isn't that class that and again, it's an art form in that you've created a pub and it immediately translated to happiness for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Through their phones or through their iPads or whatever the hell they're watching on.
Yeah. And then, people were sending us videos and it's mad to see the generation gap where all these people now are some people are living with their grandparents or their parents and they're quite old. And they're all stuck in the same houses, and they're watching our live streams. And there was even like old people sitting with their kids and like playing the tin whistle along to it because they know the songs too.
Yeah,
and like the youngsters, it's just this weird bonding that it's like actually so wholesome. And it's us talking about our Mickeys and stuff for half the time.
It's like every 20 years there's a folk revival or something, but it's like not exactly that, but. It's good to see generations being connected through the music and the music staying alive and not going away. So
like it's so wholesome.
Like I remember being in where is it for? I was in Budapest before and I was talking to someone and we're saying like a lot of the folk music was just lost during the USSR and stuff like that. And the singing traditions are just gone. But Ireland's really lucky that we have all this old folk music and it's so strong, so it's great. It's great seeing loads of generations of the one family watching it and all enjoying it. So
we hid it from the English. We kept it we hid it in Louth for the English.
Luckily. I can't have anything with them crowd around.
Because I knew I could tell you were good crack from the watch, from just the way you were singing and stuff. But when you start, you know what I'm gonna fucking say? Poor old Gemma O'Doherty and those poor people.
yeah. That was
They crashed our protest.
That was absolutely delicious. That was.
Thanks very much.
So, what were your policies again? Just in case people haven't heard, I'll probably put a link to this in the show notes as well, because this is so good.
Bring back dial-up. That's the main one. Bring back dial-up.
Bring back the old shopping centre in Dundalk.
And that's the main ones.
They're the main ones. We want things to be the way it used to be. We like the way it was. Dundalk Against Change is the name of our party. So. We like the good old-fashioned values.
For anybody who's wondering, what in the fuck am I listening to here? It's Gemma O'Doherty and a group of very far right-wing people who are singing off the most ridiculous hymn sheet, who want things owled and white and owled. And the boys counter-argued. They called her bluff and approached her with these policies that she... Were they fuming?
Oh yeah. At the start they were really confused because the beach was the beach where they were doing this protest. We got word is 5 minutes away from our house. Like you could walk to it from our house. And
beautiful.
And we weren't going to do anything because we were like, the guards are going to deal with them. We don't want to be, doing whatever. But then we found out that they were still doing their wee protest or anti-multiculturalism, anti-5G vaccine, whatever. I don't know, whatever mush is coming out of their heads. But we put on tinfoil hats and decided to make a group called Dundalk Against Change and go down and pretend to them that this was our day for the protest.
They're always telling people to go back to where they came from, but they were in our town and we told them to go back to where they came from.
So they obviously don't like a taste of their own medicine, and they're always going like, but what about free speech? But that's a very American thing. I don't actually think free speech is all it's cracked up to be. Who wants free speech? Oh, you can go down the street and you can say whatever you like to anyone. It sounds like only a bollocks that want free speech,
Everyone else knows they have it already.
Yeah, you just have that. You can just do that, but you have to feel the repercussions. Like, fuck me. You can't just be going around saying whatever you want to whoever you want.
Jesus, the place would be gone mad. Huh?
Imagine that. Oh, I have free speech, so I can just be a fucking arsehole the whole time. Like, fuck me.
Telling people free what speech. I think. For fuck's sake.
But they didn't like it. We were essentially doing what they wanted. Do you know what I mean? We were doing bring back dial-up as like this whole thing of like, we don't want 5G. And then we were saying, this is but we only live down the road. What are you doing in our area? You are not from here. Go away. And we were also going, we're exercising our right to free speech. And they didn't want any of it. So I don't know. They need to have a good chat about what they really want, because we were doing all the stuff they were protesting for.
I like that you said they didn't like a taste of their own medicine, but of course they don't want vaccines for anybody.
No.
So
they don't want it in any form. But it was great to see them run off the beach away from us. And there was one lady who, when we were getting out of the car, and we had these signs and the tinfoil and all, and we were making tinfoil hats, she was like, the Mary Wallopers, and we were like, yeah, that's us. And she was like, we forgot to bring signs. Fair play to you, lads. Fair play to you.
And we thought they were on our
And we
side.
were like, all right, obviously they think this is like hilarious or whatever. But when we got down to the beach, she came down after us with her family, and she was not happy because she was like with the Gemma O'Doherty crowd.
At one point she said, bring back dial-up. That's great, lads.
Yeah, she said, bring back dial-up. That's great. That's brilliant. We forgot our placards. But then when we were down on the beach, you can see in the video, if you're going to link the video. We blurred them out because we're not bringing ourselves down to their level. But she said, she started shouting shame on you at us. She later went on Facebook to a weird far-right group and posted the video of us annoying them and said, this is the Mary Wallopers. I used to be a fan of their music, but now if I heard it, it would make me vomit. And I went on to try and spread rumours that we were throwing sand in Gemma O'Doherty's face, that we told a young boy with Down syndrome that he should have been aborted, and that we were throwing eggs into children's faces at the protest. Like, she was trying to dismantle our whole like
some
career or
some
something.
of them have made it their business to comment under every one of our YouTube videos.
If you go look up the Mary Wallopers on YouTube and go to the YouTube videos, there's a page called Pat Scanlon who is not happy with Mary Wallopers at all because we support 5G. You go look at all the comments because Jesus, I tell you, for a group of people that are always going, oh, people are so triggered nowadays, it's very, very easy to trigger them. They can't take
the
a joke
irony.
at all.
But the very fact that woman was raging at you and, you know, came out with these statements shows that they're all fucking lunatics that are involved in this thing with loads of time on their hands.
It was at the point of, right, we're very lucky that we're young white lads and we're Irish, right? Because if we weren't, the backlash would have been, I'd say, 100 times. There was people screenshotting pictures of Andrew's nose and saying incredibly anti-Semitic stuff about us. And then kept trying to make out we were gay and we loved riding Leo Varadkar. And also even had people going, yeah, bloody 4 eyes about Andrew's glasses. It's like, what sort of insults?
Glasses now. Glasses.
Glasses, making fun of people's glasses.
Oh, that's a very Jewish thing, isn't it? Of course. Yeah.
Don't you know? Yeah, so it was just funny.
We're actually, we're lucky.
We're lucky. We're lucky. Make you realize how psycho they are.
When you're not in a minority group, you don't have to put up, like, we wouldn't have been like they would have just tore us apart, you know. Jesus, it would have been 10. And no one else would have been behind us either. So
yeah.
It's
but it really was an eye opener to just see how loopy they are, because we were just kind of like, let's go fuck these off the fucking beach because we don't want them. We don't want them down here.
I do love how that woman was initially a huge fan of yours. And it was like,
oh yeah.
Oh, it's the Mary Wallopers.
And now she would vomit if she heard us.
You're racist just like me. Lovely. Right. You know.
How she'd vomit if she heard us again. It's actually, it's literally Jared's in this other, there was a sketch in like that program Little Britain where a woman would be eating a cake and then
she started vomiting.
Like she was racist, so she'd vomit because she didn't like it. And that's literally this woman said she would vomit on here on music.
What breed of dog is that? It's a Shih Tzu.
Yeah, this is literally what is happening. So, but it was good. It was good to get them.
It's falling apart for them anyway.
It's falling apart for them. Fuck them. I hope they fucking rot.
Well, I almost ended up being a writer for UKIP when they didn't even know it. Genuinely, I got approached by. I got approached by, and the podcast listeners have heard this a few times, but because it's so fucking funny and I love telling people, I was gigging in Belgium, and this bloke, he was a UKIP. I suppose it's MEP. I don't know what they, whatever they are. TD, we'll say. Hello. And he approached me after the gig, and he was like, "A little fucking loud Liverpudlian fella. I really like your style." I says, "Thanks." And pinstripe suit, over the top tie, obnoxious, greased, brill creamed hair, like. And he says, "Would you consider writing for me?" I says, "You have heard my surname, haven't you? Like, it's we're not fucking fishing out of the same pond, if you know what I mean." But genuinely, your man went, "Oh, don't worry about that shit. Sure, my PR agent used to be in the fucking IRA, so it didn't make a difference."
No, it doesn't matter to them.
They'll use whatever they can get.
Fellas at the top have these lunatics to follow them at the bottom, i.e. Gemma O'Doherty's and all the rest. But the fellas at the top are going, "How much can I make off this shit?"
Absolutely.
And it's how much of a neck these fellas have, like. No, it didn't transpire. Fucking UKIP went to the wall or whatever. But I had genuine aspirations, because your man was willing to pay serious money for script writing, but I had aspirations using his accent to see if I could phonetically twist in Republican phrases, like, where could I, as he's addressing, the European Union, could I use his strong Liverpudlian accent and tie in like Chucky Carlaw somewhere in the middle of the sentence?
It's so funny. I like, it's just so funny to see them. I have never seen a person walk around like Gemma O'Doherty did that day on the beach when we came down and started roaring and screaming. And the way she was walking around was with her arms, like giving herself a self-hug. And all the lunatics there were patting her on the back, going like, "Stay strong, Gemma."
There's something really emotional about their whole thing, and it feels like a cult. People in comments who adore her call her Jen, and like her and John Waters walked away from the beach, linking arms, looking down like they were at a funeral, and it's very like, "Oh no, everyone is picking on us," and it's like.
I think she's just doing it for attention.
Yeah, just a psychopath.
That's what she's doing.
Money and attention. That is it.
Yeah.
So they're psychos. And
what kind of car did she drive away in? I bet you was an all right one. It wasn't, the arse
I
wasn't
don't know.
falling out of it, I bet you. She's making
I
some,
wish we could have seen. It was probably better than Arioch.
you know, better than the heap of shit I'm driving anyway. So I mean,
Probably wasn't a Northern Reg either, like Arioch.
that's the job, boys. That's the job. Full to the max with green diesel as well. I love your attitude.
Fuck yeah.
So,
yeah.
In summation, so tonight, what is it? The Facebook link you go live on, or are you live on all platforms?
So we go live just on YouTube because we just haven't done it any other way. But
That's why.
We'll pop the link up.
But the
everywhere.
link will be up on our Facebook page, the Mary Wallopers, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter if you type into the search bar at Mary Wallopers. We'll be putting the link up there.
There's nothing to confuse you with, because as soon as I searched Mary W, it comes up immediately.
That's it.
That's
it. That's why we still wonder how RT could make the mistake of spelling it wrong.
The Wallopers.
Because when you type in the Mary Wallopers, it says, "Did you mean the Mary Wallopers?"
That's what Google says.
So,
I'd well believe.
but anyway, yeah, it's easy enough to find. You won't forget the name, and we'll be live at 9:00 tonight,
9 p.m.
and it's going to be a right soiree.
The Wallopers will be absolutely lashing it out. Would you do cod liver oil just to send me away? Happy?
Yes.
Would you?
We'll do it for you.
Thank you so much, boys. This has been amazing. Ladies
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna also just say the donate link tonight.
Yes.
You can donate to us tonight, and it's going to be a fabulous thing to do because we'll build more pubs. We might come to your town and build a pub. So go to www.marywallopers.com/donate and buy us a digital pint.
There you go. Roll up a fiver and roll up a fucking $5 or a $10 or whatever you feel, and throw it up the internet to these guys, because
there you are.
It'll be worth it. Again, I'll put that link in the show notes as well, so it'll be easy to grab when you scroll down. So
thanks very much.
One final time, the Mary Wallopers, if you wouldn't mind.
Yep.
Out to the east, there came a hard man. Oh, ho, ho, all the way from Britain. Glory, hallelujah. Cod liver oil and the orange juice. He went into a pub and he came out paralytic. Oh, ho, ho, feed the insider. What a hell of a mixture. Cod liver oil and the orange juice. Does this bus go to the Donaston Palace? Oh, ho, ho, I'm looking for a lumber. Glory, hallelujah. Cod liver oil and the orange juice. There in the dancing, he met Hairy Mary. Oh, ho, ho, the flower of the Gorbals. Glory, hallelujah. Cod liver oil and the orange juice. Oh, now, Mary, are you dancing? Oh, no, it's just the way I'm standing. Glory, hallelujah. Cod liver oil and the orange juice. Oh, now, Mary, you're one in a million. Oh, ho, ho, and so's your chances. Glory, hallelujah. Cod liver oil and the orange juice. Oh, now, Mary, can I run you home? Oh, ho, ho, I've got a pair of sand shoes. You're a hell of a funny. Cod liver oil and the orange juice. Into the back clothes and out through the dunny. Oh, ho, ho, it wasn't for the first time. Glory, hallelujah. Cod liver oil and the orange juice. The mother came out, she was going to the clutchy. Oh, ho, ho, I buggered off sharpish. Glory, hallelujah. Hot liver oil and the orange juice. Mary, Mary had a little baby. Oh, the father's in the army. Glory, hallelujah. Hot liver oil and the orange juice. Mary's still looking for her hard man. He joined the Foreign Legion. Sahara under the camel, hot liver oil and the orange juice. Hot liver oil and the orange juice.
Outstanding, guys. That was brilliant.
Thanks very much.
Oh, absolutely. Once more time, the Mary Wallopers, Sean, Charles, and Andrew. That was fantastic. Guys, get on it. You scroll down, it'll be the first link you see. Everybody, click onto it immediately and go see the boys. Get a lash of cans and join them tonight, live over on YouTube. Boys, fair play to you.
Hey, thanks very much for having us, Tom.